no matter what you do to this surface or the surface of any rounded object, it's gonna be rounded. It's gonna curve, because it has to be. The whole face of this is constantly curving. If you want to start cutting into this thing, it's gonna get weird, okay? So let's just take a box out of the top. We can start, let's just go back in perspective. Building a box. Notice that my edge right here, I have to kind of follow that curvature. It has to roll around. So I'm not drawing a normal box that is going to have a straight line. It can't, because it's hitting this edge, and the edge is rounded. So in order to remove from this thing, I have to get that rounded. When I come down here to the bottom, and I want to draw this side of the box that I'm cutting, I have to keep that rounded edge. There's no way that I can not be rounded right there. And inside of here, go back in perspective again. Hard angle, I just decided for us all to draw, but inside, it's our cut, so we can do whatever we want. But on the outside, there has to be this rounded nature. Those cuts that I'm making, it's just a box until I hit that rounded part, and then I have to curve with the direction of the form. When we start slicing up an ellipse, you think about if you've ever cut a cucumber and you turn your knife at like an angle, or any fruit really, or vegetable. Now those slices that you get are not going to represent the silhouette of the form anymore. They kind of get stretched and elongated. So they're still ellipses, they're still constantly curving, but if we looked at them straight on, they wouldn't ever be a circle. The only time you get a circle when you cut a cylinder is if you cut parallel to the base. So if I cut along that line, I'd get a cut line like this. There's going to be another ellipse that is consistent with the rest of the cylinder. As soon as I start changing the angle of my knife, let's say I'm cutting at an angle like this now my minor axis has to come out this way. And now my ellipse is going to look something like this. Still an ellipse, because it has to curve constantly as it goes around the cylinder. But it's going to change its length. If I looked at that ellipse straight on, it would be an oval. It wouldn't be a circle, because it's too long. I've created more width from left to right than depth front to back. Minor axis of my ellipse has to be perpendicular to that. Something like that. Up here, around, and then I would just slice and pull all that off. So you can change the angle of your knife any way you want, as long as that minor axis is changing with it. Elliptical part follows that minor axis. So let's say I wanted to like separate these two along that. And then I just did another one right next to it. Obviously the minor axis has to move over as my ellipse moves over. This is how designers used to work. If you're like an industrial designer making chairs or something for some company, this is how you would have to work to develop all those ideas and be able to like present a blueprint or a sketch or something. So here I just kind of added a segment in here. Same exact ellipse, just smaller. Has to kind of mate with it at that same angle. And I've reinforced the line weight to really push that forward and say that it is overlapping.